much earlier? How are we supposed to write a happy ending with only this much left?
Well, this is Durin's story. As long as he's alive and well, why should it end?
If there really is such a direct correlation between the story and his fate, I may have a potential hypothesis. Durin was, and still is in essence, a storybook character, written into being by M. From the moment he was born, he has always dwelt within her story. And I suspect that has remained the case, even after his arrival in Teyvat. Reviving Durin in the evil dragon's place was an act of grafting this Durin story onto the latter's fate. In essence, that is how his fate was rewritten. But there is a fundamental difference between a being's story and its fate. As Miss Barbeloth reminded us, the fate of every living being in Teyvat has been woven into the fabric of time. Its most natural path, therefore, is to proceed along its given track. But Durin's story, on the other hand... As Durin's connection to this world wore thin, not only have people started to forget him, he started to lose control of the abyssal power within. In other words, his story can't continue, because the author's ink is drying up. That's what it seems like to me.
It would seem the little dragon had made a group of fine friends indeed.
Save it. The question is, are you here to help him, or stand in his way?
This is as far as the story can go. What path will you choose?
I suppose the final decision is up to me. It's hard to believe I never actually left my mother's story. If that's true, I'd like to go there and see for myself.
By there, I take it you mean the blank pages of the unwritten chapter ahead?
But we still don't even know how Alice's magic works. If Durin belongs inside the story, then going outside of it to some unwritten part, isn't it too risky?
I'm not afraid.
I second that. It would seem this is one answer you need to go seize for yourself.
So be it. Whatever obstacles stand in your way, we'll tear them down together.
In that invisible wall, it was as if the little dragon was staring at the uncrossable edge of existence itself. And all of a sudden, it began to fracture, as if struck by some transcendent will.
Gotta keep going.
Lies only a stormless void.
My consciousness is slipping away.
Keep going, Durin. A pure soul is your essence, not an empty void.
I feel so weak.
Stand tall, Durin. You are not some amorphous idea. The body I made for you is flesh and bone.
Am I truly alive?
Yes, Durin, but you must keep going. You're as alive and real as I am.
I can't feel a connection.
You're not alone in this world, Durin. At the very least, you have me.
I can't remember anything. Who am I?
Your name is Durin, and there are many who still remember it.
My name is Durin.
You're taking too long. Come on, Durin, run! In this world, fate waits for no one.
Wait! Where am I meant to go? What am I supposed to do?
Go. Make your wish come true, Durin.
My wish?
Your story's not over yet!
Silence, huh? Have you nothing to say about my proposal?
Let me get this straight. You want to graft your story onto this unfinished thread of fate, and in doing so, not only rewrite that fate, but allow the story to live on.
Quite the brilliant idea. Still, the story's survival depends entirely on whether the author keeps writing.
Exactly. And the moment foretold by the prophecy is still centuries away.
I see. I thought my own ignorance might be the problem. That I'd asked more of the noble science of alchemy than it could ever deliver. Or that I had failed to discern the heavenly signs and grasp the secret truth underlying the prophecy. Little did I imagine that time itself would prove to be the greatest hurdle of all.
Well, my friend, this has been a most intriguing experiment. And from an academic perspective, at least, I don't think it was a bad proposal.
Someday, the prophecy will come to pass. So remember, my friend, much like the stars themselves, there will always be something that transcends the test of time.
Thank you, everyone. You've helped me so much already. But, Alice, I still have one final favor to ask of you. Will you lend me your magic one last time, just enough for me to keep his story alive until the prophecy is fulfilled?
You mean you want me to extend your lifespan?
No, not in that sense. As Rhindaughter once told me, the laws governing life and death are among the most unyielding in this world. I'm well aware of that. Whether it lasts a day or an age, the span of one's life is determined by fate alone. If I tried to breach that law by force, I'm afraid I would lose what makes me human. This is not a path I want to go down. If I am to die, then I shall die a human.
So what is it that you want me to do?
I would like you to send this pen of mine into the future.
I see. Then perhaps there really is a way I can help. I could create a kind of story magic to take over the writing once you're gone. Oh, but for it to work, you would need to provide enough of your own words for it to learn from.
How much?
Oh, an immense amount. So much, in fact, that you would have to spend the rest of your life writing. And even then, I'm sorry to say, it would not last forever. No matter how much you write, there is a limit to the number of words you can leave behind. But the world itself will never stop changing. Someday, perhaps, even your entire corpus will not be enough for the magic to continue describing this world. And when that happens, the story will end.
Still, it's worth a try.
Oh, my dear Anya. Even after all this time, you're still... Look at you. You should be enjoying your old age in peace and quiet, especially now that things are finally returning to normal after that terrible calamity.
Once he leaves Simulanka, things will only get more complicated. If his story is to continue, there needs to be more material for the magic to draw upon. I'll just have to skip over some of the less important details.
Anya, why do you insist on sending him out of the storybook world? Why must he face his fate in Teyvat? Why not just let him remain within the story? With my magic, even fate's curse could be undone and he could live happily ever after.
I suppose. In fairy tales, all it takes is a heartfelt wish. And even a wooden puppet can turn himself into a real boy and live happily ever after. That's just how fairy tales end, isn't it? But have you ever wondered what happens to the main character after the ever after? Tell me, Alice, in your eyes, what would be a writer's greatest regret?
To leave a story without an ending.
Not a bad answer. It's true, many writers come to consider that their greatest regret. But I see things differently. My greatest regret is that every story I write has to come to an end in the first place.
Anya.
No matter how brilliantly a character shines, the moment their story ends, their potential is lost forever. For them, the story itself becomes an inescapable fate. But what if, instead, I could place my pen in their hand and let them continue the story themselves?
You mean...
You said it yourself. I can only leave so many words behind. Even with your magic, the idea that I could keep the story going until the prophecy comes to pass is wishful thinking at best. But I found a way to use your magic to transform some of my finished stories into a special kind of ink. This ink is a magical medium he can use to complete the story the way he wants to. For what is storytelling but another kind of magic? And if he can experience the whole tale himself while leaving behind his own wishes and aspirations, even once he reaches the chapter where I stopped, he'll still be able to carry the story forward on his own. And so, by leaving him this ink, I can entrust him with the responsibility of writing his own story.
A character with the power to write their own story.
That way, he'll finally be free from the cage that is my pen. And like anyone else living in the real world, he can go on to create a life of his own.
And you no longer need to worry about the constraints of my magic. What a brilliant idea, Anya. But there are still risks. First of all, once he arrives in Teyvat, he'll have to rely entirely on the story you left him to maintain his connection to that world. As you gradually hand over creative control, that connection will grow weaker, and at some point, he might lose it altogether.
But at the same time, he'll also have the chance to forge that connection for himself.
The